Hello and welcome to my channel, Always Bolt the Bird, and like always, if you've been here before, welcome back. So, I'm sure you can kind of see by the, the title of what you just clicked on the video, and the title here. This is not going to be a gameplay video, this is going to be, what I want to play in Throne of Eldraine. It's pretty simple, self-explanatory. So, if you're watching this when it comes out on Wednesday the 25th, then tomorrow, or Thursday the 26th, I think it's 11 a.m. or noon Eastern Standard, I kind of forget which one, when Throne of Eldraine goes live on Arena, we're going to start streaming. I'm going to open up, I think I have like 130 packs worth of gold and gems, and I pre-ordered the 50 pack, so we're going to open up a ton of packs. And we're gonna, play a whole bunch of decks. So, if you happen to drop by the stream, we're definitely gonna be taking user submissions. I have a bunch of decks, obviously, we're gonna see them, but yeah, we're gonna have a fun time. So, also, I'd like to just say that in the past week, I've gotten about 100 subscribers, and that's, in the grand scheme of things, it's not that much, but when you go from like 570 to like 660, that's really awesome, so thank you. If you're a new subscriber, seriously, thank you. I was looking at YouTube, and I noticed that most of the new subscribers were actually from the video that I did when M20 was coming out. And I did the same thing, like what I want to play in M20. So, I guess, like the video, do all that good junk, but I guess we'll just get started. So, yeah. The first one, Gilded Goose. We were joking around in Discord, and we said, like, we're going to have to change the name of the channel to Always Strike the Goose. Because this is basically a Birds of Paradise in a weird way. But essentially, it's a one-cost flying 0/2. And when it enters the battlefield, you create a food token. Which, in case you don't know, for the rest of the video, I'm not going to say it. But food tokens have 2 when you tap it, sacrifice, you gain 3 life. So when it enters the battlefield, you create a food token. And for 1 and 1 green, you can create a food token, or you can just tap, sacrifice a food, add mana of any color. It's got a couple of, it's definitely not as good as Birds of Paradise, but it's definitely a great card. And it's pretty kind of much like a replacement for Llanowar Elves that we're missing, because it is that 1-drop mana producer, but all in all, it seems like a solid card. Also, food tokens being an artifact, I super want to play artifacts. I'm definitely going to be making an artifact deck. If you have followed me for any time, you know that I love artifacts, and you can do some wonky things. Also, a little bit later, another slide, I have a Food Matters deck that I want to make, so this fits in perfectly for that. So, alright, so let's just get to these real quick. First off, I want to say that I know that Kenrith is the Buy a Box promo. I know I will almost be crafting these. I do not like the concept of Buy a Box promos, but they exist. They're usually good cards. So, it is what it is. Another big thing that I am hugely excited about, even though there's a couple little quirks with it, is Brawl. And I really do want to make a bunch of Brawl decks. We've been doing fake Brawl on my channel, direct challenges, for a little while, but Kenrith is just do whatever you want. 5 colors, anything. Shulan, Teller of Tales, Chulane, Teller of Tales. This seems just like an amazing, like, either aggro or just stompy deck type thing. So, expect to see a ton of Brawl. I realize that it's only going to be a once-a-week event, but most of the time we're doing direct challenges anyway. So, bring a Brawl deck to the Tuesday live streams, and we'll play some Brawl. There are also a ton of other good cards, but these were just the ones that kind of like struck me as commanders. So, I like to play hand hate, I like to play discard, stuff like that, but only when I'm in a bad mood. So, we already have Davriel, which is basically target player discards a card, and then if they have 1 or fewer more cards in their hand, it's going to deal 2 damage to them. So, cards like Reaper of Night, For 4, target opponent discards 2 cards. Then you can cast them again. It's a 4/5. If they have 2 or fewer cards, it gains flying until end of turn. I know Covetous Urge isn't exactly discard, but it kind of is hand hate. For 4, you do get to look at their hand, choose a non-land card from that, exile it, and then you can cast it though. So there's probably going to be a lot of like even like mono black, maybe Dimir, stuff like that. But if I've been having a bad day, sometimes I play stuff like this. So there are also another bunch of good cards that fit in this deck. But again, I didn't want to make this like a 50-minute video and just go over every single card. So instead, I just picked some cards that looked fun, whether they're good or not. These two, I don't know why, but I want to play with them. Again, Arcana Cell, you have it is an artifact. It can look for an artifact or an enchantment. I love artifacts. It's a 3/3 flyer. It does cost 4, but it kind of grabs some stuff out there. And Loke Dragon, I like dragons. I like flyers. I like big creatures. And when it enters, you get to loot. Oh wait, actually, it's the difference. The other looting, you discard a card, then draw a card. But still, these are cards that I want to play with. Maybe a 5-color like jank flying deck or something like that. Like something. We'll see. They're cards that stood out to me, and we're gonna play them in something. So Questing Beast, everybody wants to play it. It's probably the best card. I mean, it's a 4/4 for 4. It comes down Vigilance, Death Touch, Haste. Right there off the bat, it probably still would have been Mythic if there was no other words on there. Then you get that it can't be blocked with blocked by creatures power 2 or less. Then combat damage that would be dealt by creatures you control can't be prevented. So anything like Fog of Wars or the Fogs and all that just don't work. Can't prevent it. And then, whenever Questing Beast deals damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to target Planeswalker that player controls. Come on, it's Texting Beast. It's a wall of text. Every single line seems good. Combat damage that would be dealt by creatures you control can't be prevented. Seems like the least important line there because we don't really have Turbo Fog anymore. But there still is some like prevent damage. I don't know if they're still being played. I don't think they are, but this is just a stupidly amazing card. I want to find a way to break it. And that last little paragraph on the bottom is really what seals the deal. Like, whenever you're playing against an opponent and you're just not sure you should be attacking them or their Planeswalker, now it doesn't matter. Also, maybe a Questing Beast Brawl deck. Mono green, Stompy, Brawl. So, alright. Knights. I'm not saying I'm going to play every single card that you see here, and I'm not saying that I won't play cards that you don't see here. Knights are definitely a huge tribe. And I definitely want to make a 5-color Knights. I definitely want to make 2-color Knights. I want to make 3-color Knights. I want to make Mardu Knights. I want to make Orzhov Knights. I love the Knights. I love creatures, stuff like that. I mean, the Circle of Loyalty is one of the things that really stand out, as well as Tournament Ground. Just Knights. You got your Inspiring Veteran. It gets +1/+1. Also, Belle of the Brawl. Come on. Best name ever. I'm definitely making her my background on one of my 3 monitors. But it's like whenever he attacks other Knights you control, get +1/+0. Acclaimed Contender is probably one of the best Knights out there, especially in white. But when it comes into the battlefield, if you control another Knight, you look at the top 5 cards, you may reveal a Knight, Aura, Equipment, or Legendary Artifact, which is like the Circle of Loyalty. And then you put it in your hand, like Knights. Oh, Knights. I can't wait. I already have a Mardu Knights, but it doesn't include a lot of the stuff that I can't play yet. Everybody wants to play Karuk, but actually this was the only slide I put any thought into the background. I was like, ooh, Karuk on Karuk. That sounds dirty. Whatever. Next. So I already have my Selesnya Wolves, and I love them. So I'm thinking of like white, green, black wolves, because it does cost 6, but it comes down with 5. And for 0, you create two black and green wolf, black and green wolf creature tokens with when it dies, put a loyalty counter on each Karuk you control. So maybe we'll see more in future sets. We'll see. Or -3, which you can do right when it comes down. You destroy a target creature and you draw a card. And for -6, you get the Overrun emblem, basically. You get an emblem that says creatures you control get +3/+3 and have trample. So it's definitely not the absolute best Planeswalker. I don't even think it's the best Planeswalker in this set. But he fits into my Wolves deck. And it's Karuk. He's finally back. Everybody told me that I would never get another Karuk. I said, okay. But seriously, I do want to play Wolves decks. I do want to play Karuk. He looks like a great card. So, alright. Let's travel back in time a little bit. And do you remember when I said sometimes if I'm in a bad mood, I like to play the discard deck? Well, sometimes if I'm in a bad mood too, I like to play mono red. So I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but mono red, it's a deck. It's going to happen. It's a deck right now. I feel like it's a deck that might even get a little bit better. And we might see it go from like mono red burn or like mono red aggro to mono red mid range even, maybe. I don't know. But the Bone Crusher Giant. So it's you got the instant adventure, which basically damage can't be prevented this turn, and then it deals 2 damage to any target. So basically you've got a shock that damage can't be prevented. And if I'm not wrong, this gets around Cerulean Drake. So you still can't target Cerulean Drake because it's got protection from red, but if I'm not wrong, the way protection reads is you prevent all damage from red creatures. So if the damage can't be prevented, so like let's say they attack with Cerulean Drake, you block with something that's red, you instantly cast Stomp, the damage can't be prevented, you get to shock something else, and you get to kill the Cerulean Drake. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments below, but I do think that because the damage can't be prevented, that it gets around protection. Obviously you can't target that particular card, but if you're blocking or something like that. So Fling is back, and we love Fling, or at least I do. You get something a little bit big and then attack and then bring it back. So Rimrock Knight. This also kind of fits in the Knight's deck, but essentially as an instant you get target creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn. It's a 3/1 for 2 that can't block. Not a great card, but I think it might see its way into some decks. I'm definitely going to be playing something. I gotta look. Unfortunately, there's not enough dwarves to have dwarf tribal, but Embercleave, Flash. It costs 1 less for each attacking creature. So it does cost 6, but if you're attacking with 4 creatures, it costs 2. When it enters the battlefield, you attach it to a creature you control. That creature gets +1/+1 and has double strike and trample. Good card. So then you've got the Thane of Redfell. And this is going to see... Forget the jank decks that I want to make. This is probably going to be a staple in the mono red decks. If a red source you control would deal damage to an opponent or a permanent the opponent controls, it deals that much +2. So, unfortunately, mono red is definitely sticking around. I will definitely be doing a deck on it. Sometimes you just gotta say, I'm not in the mood to play Magic. I want to win on turn 3. Okay, so this is what I was talking about in the beginning with the food. With the Gilded Goose, creating some food tokens and doing some weird stuff. So, first off, last M20, I said that Fry was like the meme card with the art and all that. I think Bake Into a Pie is 100% the meme card this time. It's for 4, destroy target creature, and you create a food token. It's pretty decent. It is an instant. It doesn't really have any conditions, so it could be legendary, it could be this, it could be that, it could be anything you want. But Oko, Thief of Crowns. So it's a 3-cost Planeswalker that comes in with 4, and then for +2, it's create a food token. So as soon as it drops for 3 cost, it's a 6 loyalty counters. But then target artifact or creature loses all abilities and becomes an elf with base toughness 3/3. So basically, you turn 3, you drop it, you +2, you created a food token. Turn 4, you -1, you make that food token to 3/3. So on and so forth. But also -5, you can exchange. You can exchange control of artifact or creature we control with somebody else. So we can start giving them food tokens and taking their creatures. So an example would be turn 3, you play this, +2, you create a food token, pass the turn, they play a creature, you don't like that creature, comes back to you, we -5, it still has 1 loyalty counter, we give them a food token, take their creature. So I think that I really do want to make that like food matters or like don't eat this deck type thing that just revolves around like food tokens. So I think Oko is a really, really good planeswalker in certain conditions. So, and I really do want to make like a food deck with that. So, yeah. Alright, so ever since Jace came out, I've been wanting to make like a self-mill deck, and I just haven't got around to it, to be honest. Unfortunately, I just haven't made it. But, so basically, if you don't know, Jace, Wielder of Mysteries is essentially if you would draw a card while your library has no cards in it, you win the game instead. +1, target player puts the top 2 cards of their library into the graveyard. You draw a card. So you can even do this to yourself. And then the -8 is draw 7 cards, and if your library has no cards in it, you win the game. There are mill decks out there, definitely. But I think it's finally time for me to play one with the Magic Mirror. The spell costs 1 less to cast for each instant and sorcery in your graveyard. You have no maximum hand size. And at the beginning of your upkeep, put a knowledge counter on it. And then you draw a card for each thing. So, yes, it's not mill, but it's a way to get all your cards pretty quickly out of the graveyard. If you start off with, like, let's say, like a bunch of ops and a bunch of unsummons and stuff like that, maybe by turn 4 or 5, you can be casting this. So, I think I want to make, like, a dump my library into my hand kind of deck. Just have, like, all these draw spells and stuff like that, and instead of trying to mill myself, I'm going to try to draw myself out of existence and win with Jace. We got to figure out some other win conditions, but yeah, so that's the plan. I really want to try something like that with the Magic Mirror, and also I'm sure there's other decks that Magic Mirror is going to end up in. I think we're towards-ish the end, so super sorry this took so long, but I love Mono Green Stompy. I know that these don't really fit, but like the Thunderous Snapper, like whenever you convert a mana cost 5 or greater, draw a card, we can easily do that. But then with like the Ranger, like I'm really loving these adventure mechanics. You create 2 1/1 human tokens, and then you tap it to, once you play it, you tap creatures you control, get +1/+1 till end of turn. I'm not saying these are Stompy decks, but these are, I think they're going to find their way into some creature decks, for me at least. Thunderous Snapper probably will end up in like a mono green Stompy if I do something like that, but the Ranger is definitely going to be a creature deck. It might be time for some more tokens. I already have the rotation proof token deck, and this might end up in there. So, we'll see. Harmonia's Archon. I'm sure I just pronounced Archon wrong, but this is one of those cards where it's just weird enough for me to try to build a deck around it. So it's a 4/5 flyer for 6. Well, it's got flying, we already know that. And non-Archon creatures have base power and toughness 3/3, and that's on both sides. That's just not what you control, that's in general. So you could be screwing yourself a little bit if you do play that, depending on what they have. And when it enters the battlefield, you create 2 1/1 white human tokens. So, which really means you create 2 3/3 human tokens, because the non-Archon. This might end up in the this might end up in some type of like other token deck I was just talking about. But Harmonia's Archon is something that I do want to play. It's something that it's just off the wall enough, like so. Alrighty. Cauldron of Eternity. This is something that I don't know where it's fitting yet, but I do know that it reminded me a lot of like the Citadel of Bolas. I know it does completely different things, but the whole legendary artifact thing and the fact that like but it costs 2 less for each creature in your graveyard. Whenever a creature you control dies, you put it on the bottom of its owner's library instead. And then for 3 tap, you pay 2 life, return the target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, only as a sorcery. I already have the rotation-proof revival decks, and I can see this going in there. You do have to be a little bit careful because once you play it, if creatures die, you can still discard stuff to the graveyard, but if they die, they won't end up in the graveyard. So you just have to pay attention to that. But again, this is just a card that I kind of want to play. And then this little dude. First off, it's the cutest little blue shaman I've ever seen. And second off, again, this is something that's going to end up in some of my creature decks. Like, each other non-human creature enters the battlefield with an additional 1/1 counter. It's a 3/3 for 3. It's a pretty solid card. I'm not saying it's the most broken card. I'm not saying... But this is a card that I want to play with. Mainly because I like go wide and all that other stuff. So, and it says non-human creature, not like non-human, non-token. So, if you are creating a bunch of tokens with... something like the X white green green. I can't think of it, but you create X tokens. Oh wait, they might be humans. Maybe they're soldiers. I don't know. But if you're creating tokens, they also come in with tokens. Actually, this plus Krenko would be really, really, really good. So actually, Grumgully and Krenko is probably going to be a deck, and we just figured out where that's going to fit in. So... Well, that is it. Apparently, I cannot hit the forward button anymore, so there are so many good cards, and if I didn't do your favorite card, I didn't do the card you didn't want to play, I didn't say a deck that you wanted to play. Honestly, it's because every single card in Eldraine I want to play, even the bad ones, and it just got to the point where I think this video is already 30 minutes, so I apologize for that. I have no idea how long this video is. I've just been talking in here. We've been doing it in one take. And I've been having a fun time, actually. So, but I really do want to play everything. I really will play everything. So if there's something that I didn't say I was going to play, I'm probably going to play it. But leave a comment saying what you want to play. And remember, tomorrow or Thursday the 26th, that's somewhere around noon, I am going live. We're going to open up a bunch of packs. And we're going to stream all day. We're going to stream until I can't stream no more. So the last time we did it with M20, I wound up streaming until about 10 p.m. So we got a good solid 10 hours in. But yeah, so if you like this video, you want to see more, hit the like button, subscribe, tap the bell icon, get notified every time I post a video, which is going to be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You're also going to get notified Tuesdays and Thursdays when I go live, 8 p.m. Eastern right here on YouTube, and you'll also get notified tomorrow, the 26th, when I go live for Throne of Eldraine. So, you'll have an amazing day, and I'm going to see you in the next video. Well, actually, the next live stream. There will be no video tomorrow, actually, because I am going to be live streaming it. So, okay, you all have an amazing day. We'll see you in the next video. And seriously, new subscribers, thank you. You're awesome. Old subscribers, you're awesome too.